play the OG, and then play the second one,
Yeah, it's not
and
like
then
Gears of
play the
War.
remake.
It's not like it's Gears of War where it just continuously started to fall off. It made no sense.
You know what's sad?
What?
My dad ignored me, and he played the remake first, and then he played Dead Space 2. Because my dad does not like Dead Space 2. And
Really?
my dad apologized to me about it. Yeah. No, my dad said he does not like Dead Space 2 because like the graphics, the camera angles, the way the game is, he
Well,
said it just does
it's
not.
old, so he has to understand it's
Well,
old. So like,
well, yeah. Well, that's what my dad said. My dad, after my dad played the remake and then he played Dead Space 2, my dad literally apologized to me. He was like, "I know you told me how to play this series, and I wish I did, because I do
yeah,
not like Dead Space 2 at all." I was like, Dad, dude, no. Because here's where I am on Dead Space. The Dead Space remake was so good. It was so worth it. They actually fixed plot holes in the original Dead Space that you don't even know are plot holes until you play through it a couple times.
yeah, and also they give you more shit to
Isaac
do.
talking, just yeah, they give you more shit to do. They give you more of a relationship. You actually understand Isaac and Nicole's. You get more of Isaac and Nicole's relationship, which like adds more weight to the story. It's so good.
Dude, for real.
But
I like
if you
how we're just
play
giving free
the new
publicity to Dead Space 2, right? I mean, Dead Space remake right now.
not just
Yo,
Dead Space, right? Dead Space 2 is one of the best games ever. Go play it. But
dude,
that's what
for
my
real.
dad even said. My dad was like, I wish I did what you said, Corey. Cause like my dad was like, every game you suggested to me, I have loved. And like the Dead Space remake was so good. It's like it's up there in like my favorite games. But you told me to play the original first and then two. And I even told my dad he could skip three, even though I love three and I've played through three multiple times. I told my dad if there's a Dead Space games you can ignore, it's three. Just play the original, play Dead Space 2, and then go to the remake.
Yeah.
And my dad said, I wish I did what you said because I played the remake first. And when I went to Dead Space 2, I didn't like it because my dad literally said it was because of the mechanics, the feel, and the camera angle. And I was like,
This fucking dumbass.
ah! You should have just played the OG and then Dead Space 2 because
Well,
Dead
here's
Space
the
2 is
thing
one of the
with
best games ever.
the original Dead Spaces with the janky camera angles. I think that's what gave it the vibe. It was more scary because like you didn't know what was around every corner, and those fuckers
I just,
popping up out of nowhere. Those little fucking runners, whatever they fucking were called, when you got to the
you know
church.
what I want to know? You're a Dead Space fan. Dead Space Remake was great. What do you want next? A Dead Space 4 or a Dead Space 2 remake? I got to hear your opinion on this.
Oh, here's the thing: if they make a Dead Space 4, they have to bring in Callisto Protocol.
I
Where I
don't think they do.
no, I'm
But
just this is what I'm
that's
saying.
an
I think that would
interesting
be
take. It's an interesting take, but I don't agree with that. But go ahead. Go ahead.
the
Explain
reason
your.
why I said that is because him and Isaac went through so much, and if they actually fought with each other, that'd be so fucking cool. Like that one just holding up one side with fucking what are they necromorphs and what are the Callisto Protocol monsters called?
I don't think they're called anything specific. I don't
Yeah,
remember. I only played through that game 1.5 times,
yeah, we're gonna call them zoomies.
which is sad because I was so stoked for that game.
Yeah,
It
but
did kind
here's
of
the
let me
is
down
it
though. I
in like
can't
the
lie.
Dead Space? Isn't it like in Dead Space? Like they're both in the same universe?
No, Callisto Protocol was made by the original Dead Space devs that EA fired.
Huh. But dude, if
Yeah.
they brought Isaac and then that other, I forget his name, that guy in with each other, and they actually got to meet, and he's like, I'm bet, and then they had like, which one's better? That'd be so fucking
Oh
cool.
no. Oh no.
Isaac would
Isaac and
win.
it's Jacob.
It's Jacob.
I think it's Jacob. I like Callisto Protocol, but it was not as engaging as Dead Space.
Yeah, the
I
mechanics were
remember
weird too
everything
with
that
the
happens
melee
in it.
weapons. Like the melee weapon, it looked
I
fucking.
like the melee weapon thing, and I think it could have been good. They just have to like if they made a second one, they would just have to like they would have to really like bring it in, dude. Because I was stoked for it, and I liked it, but it is like over. They just gotta
It's
overhaul
overstimulating.
it.
It's overstimulating.
It's
I
not
will say that.
overstimulating. It's simple. Because like you don't have to time it. There's no parrying. There's no actual system to it. You just sit there and wait for him to swing at you, and like while you're holding the thumbstick, you just move it, and that's all it is. It's just weird.
Well, even in the original Dead Space, he was just swinging his arms around to fucking punch them.
Yeah, but you
So
only did that if they got close to you and you had no other option.
yeah, no ammo.
You know, here's how I feel.
And
Do
by the way,
not remake. By the way, what?
I would not want them to remake Dead Space 2. Only reason is because
It
it was such a great game. It was such a great game. If they remake it, I feel like they'll ruin it.
Ah! You are a fucking goat. That is literally what I was about to say. Dead Space 2, if you are going to do anything to it, give it a graphical update. Do
For
not
real.
change it at all. Do not do anything to it. But if you're only going to do a graphical update, don't even bother. If you're not going to make a Dead Space 4 and you want to play it safe like a bunch of pussies, remake Dead Space 3.
Oh yeah, definitely remake Dead Space 3.
Dead Space 3 is the one that needs some love. Because even though me and you like Dead Space 3, because you said you like Dead Space 3, I like
Yeah.
Dead Space 3. There's a lot of things about it that I think are bad. It is a little repetitive.
Well,
There's
here's
a
the thing. In
couple
the
things in
beginning,
it
you
that
didn't
don't make
really
no
get
sense.
necromorphs. You had like zombies. They were like zombies with axes.
That's fine though. For me, the only issue is that there's a lot of locations that are like half-assedly repeated. Even if they change a couple things about it, it's kind of repeated. Um, the story is a little meh.
Yeah, the story in 3 was
Some of
meh.
the gameplay mechanics are not as like Dead Space-y. In my opinion, remake Dead Space 3, make it a survival horror, and unfortunately, even though I have replayed Dead Space 3 with multiplayer more than by myself,
I didn't even know there was a multiplayer for Dead Space 3.
yeah, it's a two-player game, and I actually like that. A lot of people don't like Carver because he's a generic black character, but playing through that game multiple times on multiplayer, I like Carver. I think there's potential there. There's potential for him to carry on. If Isaac were to die, I think Carver has the potential to carry it on if Dead Space 3 built his character up to it.
Oh yeah, for real. So if they do a remake,
Dead
try
Space
to make Carver definitely better. I will say that.
better, yeah. If we want to move on from Isaac, even if we don't want to move on from Isaac in the remake, if you guys remake Dead Space 3, make Carver a stronger character. I like Carver. I already think he is a good enough character to stick around. Even if he's not the character to like replace Isaac, that's fine by me.
Yeah. If
Even if he's
anything,
not the character to like just I think Carver is a good enough character to stick around. I liked Carver. In fact, whenever I played Dead Space 3, if I wasn't playing throwing it alone, if my partner didn't want to play as Carver, I would absolutely love to play as Carver. I thought his armor was better. I thought his stance was better, and I just like the guy. I think he could be better if everyone let him be better.
Well, here's the thing: wasn't Carver like military trained, and Isaac Clarke was just pushed into it because he was a mechanic?
Isaac Clarke was a engineer with like a mild like physical background. Like he was
Yeah,
obviously like train. It's almost like firefighting training. You know, they train you physically for the job. So like it's not like he was this marine or like this big fighter, but he was an engineer with like
yeah,
physical capabilities.
yeah. And that
Um,
that fucking
yeah,
stasis module, G, hands down, helped me out a
I
lot
miss,
in the fucking
dude.
telekinesis shit. Oh,
I miss Dead Space so much, dude.
yeah. If they make a Dead Space 4, they should have it to where Isaac and what was the other guy's name again? I'm having a brain fart.
Carver.
Carver, both try to stop a new marker, but Isaac has to sacrifice himself to stop this one because it's the
So
original,
anyway,
not
here's what I
repercussion.
here's what I thought, because in Dead Space 3 it ended on a fucking dude. So here's how when Dead Space 3 ended, I was satisfied with it. Isaac Clarke died finishing the markers. He destroyed the home planet. No more. All was good. Isaac and Carver died, but it was for the greater good. No more. And then the DLC came out. The DLC came out, and Isaac and Carver woke up on the planet, still alive, and like everything was fucked up. There were like different like creatures on the planet. They had to fight their way off of it, and they got back on the ship that they were on before they got on the planet. But some of the enemies, like Danik, his guys, they escaped the
Mm.
planet and they got on the same ship, but they had been on the ship longer, but they went crazy because the marker fucked their brain up and they created a cult. But you had to fight your way through it. And you thought you already ended all of this, but the thing was like what happens is the guy tries to talk Isaac and Carver into like not trusting each other, and it almost works. But at the end, I never played that on two players. I played that by myself twice, but by yourself you fight Carver. Carver's the final boss if you're playing by yourself because you play as Isaac. But like at the end, if you beat Carver, he ends up like agreeing with you, thinking you're right, doing whatever the ending thing was, and then you go back to Earth. But then it turns out the moon that you destroyed in Dead Space 3 to finish the necromorphs and kill the marker and like finish everything entirely was just one of many. And all the last of the moons are at Earth right now, ravaging Earth. And like the last thing is like one of the moons like moves up into the frame of like Isaac and Carver, like they're gonna crash into it, and then it cuts off.
Oh,
So here's what
hold
I
up!
thought.
I just had a revelation. What if what happened in
What?
Callisto Protocol was Isaac and Carver crashing into it?
That doesn't make any sense.
I mean, it could. Those guys, you said they were going crazy.
Here's what I thought. I thought for a Dead Space 4, what they could do was like maybe weeks or months later, Isaac, Carver, and Ellie are like survivors on Earth, and they gotta like leave their little safe space to go out and try to stop everything.